You is good, yo, it's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're going to be specifically talking about the new Dark Matter Invincible Shaquille O'Neal that we did get today or yesterday in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. We're also going to be talking about how 2K can do things right this year when we're talking about Invincible Shaq, and obviously last year when we're talking about the Invincible cards versus the GOAT cards. That's really the thing. Because, look guys, last year, the Invincible versus GOAT cards, they were basically the same. Now, the only real difference was the Hall of Fame blinders, which to me, it really wasn't that big of a difference in my opinion. But again, we did see some GOAT cards with basically Hall of Fame blinders added, which again, just really was not that big of a deal. But again, we're going to be talking about the difference and then talking about what 2K can do different. So let's start by this, okay? The difference between Invincible Kareem and GOAT Kareem, obviously you got every badge in Hall of Fame compared to the 62 on off, but basically everything else is the same. And the real only difference obviously was the Hall of Fame blinders. Everything else was basically identical. Now, what do I think 2K can do this year to improve upon that? We're going to be talking about that. Because here's the deal, guys. Hate to break it to you, but Shaq already has blinders. So the addition of blinders is no longer what 2K can add and just be like, okay, the difference between Invincible and GOAT is just the extra blinders. There's no reason that 2K can't say that anymore. So my question to you guys is, do you guys think 2K added Invincibles too early on in 2K this year, or can they do things right? Okay, and here's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, with Shaq, how can you really make this Invincible Shaq better? Now, there's a couple of ideas that I have. Badge-wise, stat-wise, you're not going to make him better. Animation-wise, quick dribble style, Kobe size of escape, you're not going to make that better. There's really one thing we can do, and it's with releases. And I'm going to be breaking that down. So here's the deal, guys. It's not going to be every card, but there's a prime example of how 2K can make the difference between Invincible and GOAT cards worth it. For Shaq, give him Shaq base is fine, and then when you do get the upgrade, give him Gallinari base, which is what y'all gave him last year at the end of the year. You go back into 2K21, and you look, and 2K obviously did give him the Danilo Gallinari base. That's one thing 2K can do with Shaq. But then when we talk about guys like Kobe Bryant, what is 2K going to do with an Invincible Kobe? Or how are we going to upgrade the Kobe? Because we already know Kobe's going to get his base on very quick. What could 2K do? Well, they could give him quick dribble style. They could give him a better movement behind the back. What I do think 2K needs to do is I think they need to make sure the Invincible cards of every card is not perfect. Now, this is easier said than done. And why is it easier said than done? Well, it's one of those things, guys. When we get certain cards in 2K, let's say 2K gives us a Cedric Maxwell Invincible card, which I hope they don't. But if they give us a Cedric Maxwell Invincible card, it's hard to say that 2K is going to be able to make the GOAT card better. But for every card 2K is planning on giving a GOAT card, there needs to be some sort of valid improvement for the card. And with Shaq, it's easy. Shaq can get another better release. With Wilt, it'll be easy for Wilt. Wilt just needs a better release. And there's a lot of cards like that. Magic, for example, can just get a better release. Magic Johnson, when you go to his Invincible to GOAT, maybe in the future, is going to be able to get a better release. The list goes on and on. But what happened last year can no longer happen. And quite honestly, guys, I personally believe it's too early for us to be getting Invincibles in my team. I really do. Now, is Shaq or Dirk game breaking? I don't think so. And again, it comes back to the fact that neither one of those cards are perfect. But for me personally, there's no reason for us to get 99 everything with 65 Hall of Fame Shaq. There's no reason. And why do I say this? Well, here's the deal. Let's just do this. The amount of people that have Hall of Fame posterizer with Hall of Fame stop and pop, with Hall of Fame dimer, with Hall of Fame ankle braces, with Hall of Fame box. Okay, a lot of just random Hall of Fame badges. Here's your list. Dirk Nowitzki. Shaq doesn't even have all those badges, and we can go through it, right? We can just go through random stuff. I'm guessing Shaq doesn't have Hall of Fame ankle braces, right? I guess he might have. What does Shaq not have? Hall of Fame dimer. But I mean, the list is not very long, okay? For just guys that have all these random Hall of Fame badges, and that's what I'm saying. When you look at the best cards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM right now, here's what you're looking at for badges: 65, 65, and then the next best is 30. The 35 gap is bigger than the next total Hall of Fame badges. The gap between Shaq and AK is bigger than the total Hall of Fame badges that AK has. It's just too much in my opinion. Now, again, the way I think 2K can make this work is if they don't give us a really good Invincible card for quite some time. So how does this work? Well, the next couple Invincibles you drop have to be like Chris Paul, have to be like Wilt Chamberlain, have to be these mediocre mid cards in my team. It needs to be at least a month before we start getting the Kobe Bryants, before we start getting the Tracy McGrady's, guys like that. Because those guys are what's going to break the game. Even a LeBron James, heck, Michael Jordan, Luka Doncic, those guys are going to break the game. Even Giannis Antetokounmpo. They need to keep dropping these mediocre cards. Give us an Invincible Russ. I don't care. But stop. Don't give us anything too much. And again, Shaq, Dirk, those cards are obviously some of the best cards in the game. But I don't think they are enough to absolutely break the game in a whole. Again, I don't like the fact that we're getting Invincible cards already in my team. I, again, think it is just simply put too early. But if 2K is going to give us Invincible cards, they need to do a better job of pacing it. Because last year, for a prime example, they dropped the first Invincibles on May 14th, and they gave us Kobe Bryant. Now, KG, Tim Duncan, they weren't too much. But the big thing is, back then, during this type of time, we already had a Blake Griffin who had 48 Hall of Famers. So Invincible cards weren't that overpowered for that specific time. This year it's completely different. Last year the gap was like 20, maybe 15 badges. This year it's 35. And that's what I'm trying to get at is 2K has to pace themselves better. I mean, we had a Ben Simmons with 44 Hall of Fame badges before we got GOAT cards. This year Ben Simmons has what, 29, max 30 Hall of Famers. And that's my whole point. There's no reason for us to get 65 Hall of Fame badges when Ben Simmons, who we got a week ago, has 29. 2K has to pace themselves well from here on out. Otherwise, the game is going to be dead in late July. It's that simple. It's just going to be dead. The difference between Invincibles and GOAT cards this year compared to last year they could kind of hide it with the Blinders badge. This year, I mean, still they can, I guess, make a GOAT Shaq and give him every badge in the game. But how much better really is that going to make Shaq? Your answer is really none. I mean, it's really not going to make Shaq better at all. So that's my only thing. The only thing they could do is with GOAT cards, make them be able to play every position, something like that. Add a little twist to it. But I mean, it's hard to make this Shaq card better unless he can play every position in the game. And so I feel like 2K is going to have to get either really interesting with how they make GOAT cards or just slow the pace of cards down from now on in the future in general. That's my whole thing. I think it was too early for us to see this Invincible Shaq. That's my opinion on things. Look, guys, it is early May, and we're already seeing an Invincible for a 7-1 center power forward eligibility in my team, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I will say, Shaq doesn't move super well, even with the quick dribble style and Kobe size of escape. He doesn't move super well, so it's not like he breaks the game completely, especially with his release. But 2K is down a slippery slope. They give us an Invincible Tracy McGrady, Invincible Penny Hardaway, stuff like that. They are going down a slippery slope. Invincible Giannis, for example, Bron, MJ, Luka. That's a slippery slope for 2K to go down. So hopefully they do a better job pacing themselves coming up and ourselves coming up, because otherwise 2K might be dead in a couple of months. It's just quite honestly that simple. It's going down a slippery slope. Honestly, was hoping they'd wait to drop Invincibles for like another month. Obviously, 2K couldn't resist. Again, guys, I like this time in 2K more than any time else. I just think there needs to be some sort of standard that 2K sticks to when it comes to dropping Invincible and GOAT cards. I want to know your thoughts on this down below in the comments, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.